guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Wednesday morning. I hope you are well. I hope the day is going to treat you well. I mean, for me, it's looking pretty grey out there. So if it's grey for you as well, we're in the same boat. And if it's nice, keep it to yourself. Don't brag. It hurts my heart. This is a bit of a different video because obviously normally we talk like, Spurs are interested in this guy. Spurs are interested in that guy. This guy might leave. This guy might stay. This is more of like a domino effect video, and it is centered around Poch and his departure from City. So if you didn't know, not City, Chelsea. If you didn't know, it happened last night. I'll talk about it in a bit of detail and what it means for Spurs, because I think it does have a sizable effect going into the summer. So plenty to talk about, plenty to get into. Just want to say though, if you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. Now, I will preface this video, okay? It doesn't really matter what you think about Poch in this regard when I read all this stuff out. You know, if you like him, you dislike him, you love him, you hate him, whatever. We're talking about the effect it's going to have on Spurs. So it came out last night. Romano put out that Maurizio Pochettino and Chelsea part ways with immediate effect. Chelsea and Pochettino have already agreed on terms as well. So that was the first bit, and then you had directors Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley say, on behalf of everyone, Chelsea would like to express our gratitude to Maurizio for his service at the season. He'll be welcome back to Stamford Bridge anytime and wish him all the very best in his future coaching career, right? So it looks amicable. Poch said, thank you to Chelsea Ownership Group and sporting directors for the opportunity to be a part of this football club's history. The club is now well positioned to keep moving forward in the Premier League and Europe in the years to come. So that was the thing that I found really, really odd about all this. You know, this is a team that has underperformed. They've spent over £1 billion. They've underperformed really with everything that they've spent. You know, they got rid of Tuchel. They brought in Potter. He didn't work. You know, they tried Lampard. He hasn't worked. I feel like there's more. I do. I don't know why, but I feel like there's more. And you know, they've been. I'm going to be honest. They've been rubbish for the last few years. You know, they won the Champions League, and then it just sort of all fell apart. It was all really, really peculiar. Poch came in. It started all right, went through a rocky spell, and then it finished well. You know, the fact that they're in Europe is nothing short of a great achievement, really. When you look at how their season has gone all the way up sort of the last third of the season. You know, Poch finally had them playing. You could tell there seemed to be a bit of a system. There seemed to be a bit of a style of play being developed. And then he's moved on. So I don't really truly understand it. I mean, you know, I'm not going to go into who Chelsea want as their next manager. I don't really care. You know, he seemed to be a very popular manager with a lot of the players. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, I don't get it. Apparently, by the way, Poch is keen on the Man United job. So if Ten Hag goes, I think that's who they'll go and get, to be honest. With us and what that means for us, you know, I think it's fair to say when I saw this report earlier, and I will just see if I can find it quickly for everyone so they have an idea, but I do think this has an immediate effect. I mean, you've got, you know, that's not the right one. But basically, it really came down to moving on from Poch. This says here, Poch wanted experienced signings last year and this summer. He disagrees with the plans to sell two of their most important players at Chelsea, one of which being Conor Gallagher because of profit and sustainability concerns. And I think that's the key thing. I think Todd Boehly because Chelsea have spun their web in terms of, you know, feeding little increments of information to the media, talking about, no, we have no financial fair play concerns. There's no issues. We'll be fine. We don't need to sell. All the while knowing they have to sell, because that's their idea. If we tell people we don't have to sell, we can demand more on transfers. We can make a bit more back. So that means if we make enough back on certain transfers, we can keep certain players for other summers when we might need to sell. I think other clubs are kind of going, okay, keep them. And then it's a game of chicken. Who's going to give in first? For this, I do genuinely think Gallagher will join Spurs. This is the first time I've sat here and gone, yeah, I think that's going to happen. I can see it because Poch was so pro Gallagher, It was ridiculous. You know, he was vice captain. Obviously, Reece James had missed, you know, the majority of the season. Conor Gallagher was he was the captain all season, and Poch had said all year, no, want him to stay, I want him to stay, all while contracts the progression hadn't been there. And I think now with Todd Boehly having sort of ultimate control, the new manager coming in, he's going to tell him, I'm selling these players. We have to. I will buy you players that you want, but we have to sell these players. And the new manager's going to have to come in and go, yeah, all right, you need to do what you need to do. That's fine. All the while knowing if you get sacked in a year, you get a hell of a payout because it's Chelsea and they always overpay their managers and then get rid of them after a year. It's a good little gig, that, isn't it? Work for a year, get fired, and earn tens of millions of pounds. Hell yeah, I'm all for that. What a deal. Sign me up. I'll do it. I think Gallagher will be joining Spurs, if I'm honest. I think this is the big takeaway from this video, if you do take anything from this, is that with Poch going, and he was Gallagher's number one supporter at that club, with him being gone now, that sort of buffer or that wall being put up in front of Gallagher leaving, it's now been smashed and gotten rid of. And I think Gallagher probably knows with this news, yeah, my time at Chelsea's it's ticking away really quickly, and it'll be a matter of time before he goes. And I always thought, it's a difficult deal moving on from Gallagher. It's going to, are they going to get it done before June 30th? Now I think they're getting it done before June 30th. Absolutely. I think with no true supporters of in the football side of things, you might have a chief exec, you might have a scout, you might have some data teams or whatever, but they don't stop a CEO moving on from a player. They don't stop a CEO buying a player. They can voice their opinion, but it's not at the end of the day. If the CEO wants someone, the CEO wants someone. And if the CEO wants you gone, he wants you gone. And with Gallagher, he might like Gallagher, but he's also looking at going, hey, we actually do need to sell some players and we need to raise good money this summer because we're in trouble if we don't. And that's the situation. So Gallagher, I think, what are we? We are May 22nd. I would say Spurs probably this week would probably be in contact with Chelsea over Gallagher. I do genuinely think that maybe next week, but I think within the next week they'd be in contact with Chelsea over Gallagher. They probably know that Gallagher's like, look, Gallagher knows he has to go. His agents know he has to go. As much as we all sit there and go, he won't go. He will. And I think Spurs are probably in contact with his agents to say, look, would he want to be here? We've had interest for a while, and I think Gallagher probably looks at it and goes, European football, good stadium, don't have to move too far. Yeah, all right. Well, if I had to go, Spurs would be someone that I'm keen on, and I think Spurs, as soon as they get that go ahead and that green light, Spurs will knock on Chelsea's door and go, right, you want to sell him, we want to buy him, we know you have to sell. So there's no funny business. What do you actually want? Oh, I want 50 million. Daniel Levy will go, good luck with that one, Chief. That isn't going to happen. Do you know why? Why? Because we know you have to sell. No, so look, I see him in a Spurs shirt next season. I really do. And it might not be a Spurs shirt. It might be someone else, but he's not going to be in a Chelsea shirt next season unless they somehow get like 100 million for Cucurella. They get 60 million for Robert Sanchez. They get 200 million for Mudryk, and none of those are going to happen. So there's that. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed. Drop a like on the video. If you did, hit me in the comment section down below your thoughts and feelings about Poch and about the Gallagher situation, your thoughts about what I'm sort of saying on it. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you know it and hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.